Everyone has challenges in life. Everyone has an obstacle or barrier that they're trying to get over. And I've always been motivated by trying to help people to better themselves. And oftentimes people need motivation, encouragement, and information to help them to get past the things that they are experiencing, to be able to help other people with their challenges and their difficulties. It's something that I really wanted to do. My name is Dr. David Walker, and I am the author of a new book,
The Champion's Mind: How to Defeat Giants and Win.
The book is about being a champion and being a winner. The book was inspired from my own personal journey. It's about the biblical character David and how he obviously slayed the giant Goliath, but he was more than a giant slayer. And I was inspired to write about him and to conflate it with my own personal journey of being named David. One day, my mother came to my grandmother and said to her, "If I have a second son, I will name him Michael." But my grandmother looked my mother directly in her eyes and said, "His name will be David." For David was the anointed king, David killed Goliath, and David was a great man. And my grandson will be named David, and he will be a great man. Martha Culbreth, she has been my greatest inspiration in this life. You know, we all know the story of how David slayed the giant. But many of us are not aware that David was a winner at everything else that he did. A psalmist, a hero, a champion, how he overcame the giant. He was always representing someone who could overcome great obstacles. I grew up in Bedford-Stuyvesant in Brooklyn, New York. You know, as I reflect back in my mind, I remember being a young boy, and I would see over on one corner, I could see drug deals and gang violence. And as I could see over on another corner, I could see, abandoned buildings and empty lots. Either you got out or the community could get the best of you. I realized that the one way that I can overcome the barrier and the challenge of growing up in an urban environment was to go to school and educate my mind. I was fortunate not only to earn a bachelor's degree, but I have 3 masters and then a doctorate degree. And that's because I realized that the more I learned, the better I became, the more informed I became. Then I could achieve great goals because of the information that I was receiving. And so it was a way out for me. So that's what I used to be successful. I worked for the New York City School District for more than 30 years. I retired in the year 2015. I'm also a former pastor. I used to pastor in New York City. I was the pastor of Faith Church. Also, I am a retired NCAA basketball referee. I was so connected with the biblical character David. One day I started to read about him and do some research. And I came across a scripture. It was 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 18. And when I read that scripture, I said to myself, those characteristics that David the shepherd boy possessed caused him to not only defeat the giant, but to win at everything else. So I developed these 7 key principles. And in my first principle, I talk about how to master your gift. That gift is designed to prosper you and to make you a champion. So in the book, I dive into these principles, these 7 principles. I have used them myself. They have been a tremendous success for me, and I believe that they will be a success for you. You have the ability to overcome every single challenge in your life. All you got to do is just believe, and it can happen.
The Champion's Mind is a self-help book that enriches the mind and expands your knowledge of becoming a champion in life. To learn more about Dr. David M. Walker and his book, Visit his website. To find and purchase the book, visit Amazon.com and use the search term, The Champion's Mind. Also, connect with Dr. Walker online via Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We look forward to connecting with you.